It's a pleasure welcoming you to this video. Thank you for tuning in. In this video, you're going to learn how to make the sleeve placket. If that's what you're interested in, let's move right into the video. To start with, I have already pasted my collar stay on my fabric using heat. Let me quickly put you through what I did up till this point. I had to cut my collar stay 5 inches by 1 inch. That is 5 inches long. You may choose to take your 6.5 if you're working for an adult. So this width is just 1 inch, as you can see. Then when you are done cutting it straight down, you go ahead and notch the down part of it to create a V. You can also use it straight as it is. So you may also choose to use about 0.75 if you wish. That will make it to be a little bit slim. So when you are done with this, go ahead and fold it over like this and iron it down. Following the collar stay, make sure you fold all the edges over like this and then you iron it. Remember, when you are pasting your collar stay, always ensure that you have some allowances left. By this other side, it should be as big as you can see. Then you also make your strap like this. Mine was 2 inches by 6 inches. I decided to use something longer. So when I folded it up, it gave me 1 inch. Notice that I have already folded it in like so. Just prepare your strap like this and close it down. Then ensuring that there is excess underneath on the smaller part of it. Then when you look at this other side, you will notice that the downside is not straight. I have slanted it down and I went ahead to fold it in like so. So go ahead and do that so as to pipe your other side of the sleeve. So when you are done with that, the next step is to pick up your sleeve pattern. As you can see, just pick up your sleeve like so and create a slit. This slit may be 4 inches long or 4.5 inches long if you're working for an adult. Then open up your folded strap for piping like so and insert it inside just as you can see. Then you push it down to the end of the slit just like so. There are other methods of doing this, but this is the simplest method. If you want to know another method that is more technical, just let me know in the comment section. Then close it over like this and go ahead and stitch at the tip of it and ensure that it does not pick the other side. So I'm going to stitch it from this point here downward to this point. Okay, now I am on the machine, so I'm going to insert it down now and start stitching it. Make sure that it is always at the tip, extreme tip of it. And the down part that is inside the sleeve is a little bit bigger while this other side is a little bit smaller, so that as you're stitching it will pick the down part of it. I hope I'm making sense. Then after stitching it, I'll go ahead and tighten my stitches and then I cut it out. Ensure to trim off your excess because that is completely useless. Now this is how it looks, so professional at the back side of it and at the front side of it. After that, the next thing is to pick up your placket. Now open it up like this. You see I've ironed it down. It looks so beautiful and you can see that little curve there. It is obviously clean and neat. Then I'm going to open it up. There are other methods to stitch this. If you want to top stitch, you can either just fold it like this and top stitch. But when you want to fold it, make sure that you have excess fabric. But I've already trimmed it out, so I don't want to top stitch. Instead, I want to stitch it this way. You can see how I'm pushing it into the machine and I'm putting the placket under. Then I'm going to stitch like 0.25 inch downward, straight downward. So I'm stitching the two together like so. When you are doing yours, make sure that nothing is shifting. Everything follows the line as it ought to be. Then when you are done stitching it, just pull it off, cut the thread and iron it down. Remember to always iron down all your stitches because it is very important to obtain a professional look. So this is just an illustration. When you're done doing that, then open it up like this. You can see the excess is already on top of the fabric. So when you're done, just kindly pull this side and check if it is aligning. Then you close it up like this. Yeah, just fold it over like this and return the smaller part of it so that you not mistakenly pick it up with machine as you're stitching. And always check if your work is balanced, then get the smaller part out of the way as you insert it into the machine. This turn, you're going to stitch on this other side, and at the edge of it, that is where you're going to stitch. So that's what I'm doing at the way. Just notice how I'm stitching at the end of it all. As I'm stitching, I am checking the under part of it to ensure that I don't have any bulginess or the fabric is not folding underneath. Always check it. Check it very well to ensure that you have a flat layer underneath, because you want your work to be very neat, outward and inward. At this point, I'm checking where I'm going to stop. I will stop my stitches at around 1.25 inches. So as I get to that point, I'm going to raise my footer up while the needle is still inside. Then I'll turn my fabric like this, and I'm going to arrange it the way I want the sleeve to be. Then I return the footer down. Then I'm going to stitch straight down to this point. There are so many ways of doing this, but I always love this method because it gives me just what I want. And when I get to this edge, I will stop and repeat the procedure, raise my footer up, and then I turn it down to follow this other edge downward. You can see how the sleeve is now flat and neat and presentable. So I stitch it to this corner, and I'm going to stitch it around the corners, as you can see. When you are doing such things, make sure that you use a very neat and straight stitches, because this is where everything really needs to be professional, especially when you're stitching a top stitch. It should always be neat. Okay, when I get to this point, I had to stop there. You may decide to stop there and you are done with it, but I just want to create a little design. You have to play around your fabric. I don't always like doing things that are usual, so I have to stitch a kind of V at the center point of it. Sometimes I do play around with it and I can stitch like X, whatsoever design I want to give to that point. I always love to play around with it in each of the fabric that I'm working with. So you can see how far it is. Look at how neat it is. As I said earlier, you may just decide to cross it like this and then cross it again, like the first one and the second one like this. So this is how far we can go, and I'm done with this. I'll go ahead and trim it up so you can now fix your cuffs. Please, if you want me to make a video on how to create different types of cuffs like this particular one here and this other one, I love this cup so much, so just let me know in the comment section so that I know that you're interested in it. So make your choice now. Which one do you want a tutorial on, A or B? Was this video helpful? Please kindly like the video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for your support. Okay, before a bye.